מדלת and רב יצחק צבי בן משה הכהן, יום תהילתו מחר, ט"ז בשבט.
Can I get one more thing? And raise both Shlomo Zalka. Today's video.
Shlomo Zalka.
And I also want to recommend Dov Ruven Ben Avraham Ariel.
Dov Ruven Ben Avraham Ariel, and he...
My brother.
This is his... Wow. And there was also somebody who passed away yesterday, Aaron, but I don't know his name. It's just a father of somebody in the community. That everybody should have Liאת and Ishma. Okay, so just we're going to be here. If we read the first pasuk, "V'yosifu bnei Yisrael lasot hara b'nei Hashem, v'yitnem Hashem b'yad plishtim 40 shana." Okay, so plishtim we actually haven't seen so much so far. The Dat Mikra says that there were plishtim. There was there were some plishtim. They were called plishtim in the time even of Yetziat Mitzrayim, but apparently these were not necessarily the same plishtim. And from this tkufa, we're going to have issues with the plishtim through probably through David and Shlomo's time, meaning like all the way to David for sure. I'm not sure if Shlomo in addition, but it really starts around now. And Dan is the ones who are shochen right next to plishtim and Yehuda. And so they're the ones who are feeling the difficulty with the plishtim.
May I just ask you, what is it about the plishtim that they're the ones that bother themselves?
Why are they bothering us? Okay, so somehow who are the plishtim? They're all sorts of nations. They're called Goyei Hayam. Okay, they come from the sea and they come and they settle in the area of Gaza. It's ironically, maybe there is a connection, but so they come from Goyei Hayam, and they just before we come into Eretz Yisrael, they actually go up to Syria, and they actually they try to get to Mitzrayim, and then there's records of Mitzrayim saying how they managed to stop them, and then by mutual agreement, it seems, they settled in the Gaza area. There. We saw in Yoshua that they were never we probably had at some point ruling over them, but we never fully conquered them or got rid of them. And they aren't the Knaani, they aren't from the Canaan. They're from the Goyei Hayam that they come in and then they take over, but they're not the Knaanim that are settled here.
But then the question might be the same old question, that had they done full job and taken over Gaza the way they were supposed to, maybe this is still the lesson that's bothering.
But we also learned there was a pasuk that said Hashem left them there to be, I think Dafka the Plishtim says about that, he leaves them there to be a method to bother us, when we aren't okay. Meaning that there's some Hashem here, and there's some of us not doing our job, but that they're left there as a thorn in our side.
Right. Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we are doing now. So then around this time is when I'm just reading from Dat Mikra, בפרשת שמשון אנו מוצאים כבר את הכובשים הפלישתים החדשים יושבים בארץ חוף ושפלת יהודה, ומצודת שלטונם פרוסה על פני שטחים ישראלים גדולים. They really take over, and they're bothering us in Yehuda and in the areas. And we don't know exactly when, but then they said that Ramses III, I don't know that much about what Melech Bereshit HaMe'ah HaYudbet L'Fnei HaSfira, that he talks about stopping them from going further. Okay, so these are the plishtim. Now, so they're going to bother us. They're going to be a thorn in our side. And in Shimshon's time, they are the major annoying oyev. Okay? All right. Okay, so we do bad, and we are 40 years in the Yad plishtim. Okay. Vayhi ish echad mitzorah mimishpachat hadani ushmo manoach v'ishto akara v'lo yalada. Okay, so there was one man from Sirah. Ish in the Tanakh is usually somebody important or good, especially Gibor person. And now it says here, Mishpachat Dani, so Datmaker says Dan only had one Mishpacha, like the other Shvatim had more, but Dan is the Dani because everybody was really from Dan. I mean, everybody is all from their seven, but the Dani is particularly had one major Mishpacha. So it's the Dani, and his name is Manoach, and Ishto Akara v'lo Yalada. So now why does it say both that she's Akara and that she didn't give birth? It could be that she gave birth and then stopped having children. It could be meaning she has both. She's Akara, she is not able to have children, and she's never had a child before. Okay? Okay. Vayar malach Hashem el ha'isha, vayomer elea, hinena at akara v'lo yaladet, v'harit v'yaladet ben. Okay, so malach Hashem comes to the Isha. We saw this with Gideon. There was a malach Hashem who came to speak to him. In this case, it's kind of strange that it comes to the Isha and not to Manoach himself. Like, she doesn't even have a name. Like, she's the Yeshed Manoach, but she's the one who gets the
giving her specific.
He's giving, Nachon, that's true. Although also the Mepharshim will see, let's just also see how each character plays out. I find this story actually, it's a little bit amusing also, like the interaction and who does what and everything. That we're in Shimshon, Parakut. Okay. Okay, but in any case, he comes to the Isha and she tells her, Ata karava lo yaladet v'harit v'yaladet ben. And you're going to get pregnant and you're going to have a boy. V'ata hishamrina v'al tishti yain v'sheichar v'al techli kol tameh. Okay, so you have to be careful. You're right. The tzivui is important to her straight because she's the one who has to be careful about this. Do not drink wine and sheichar. And don't eat tameh. So the question is, what does it mean, don't eat tameh? Okay. Okay, what does that mean? Okay. First of all, let's just look a little bit, remind ourselves. So it's clearly we're hinting here at Nazirut. Okay. So in 2, Daber el bnei Israel v'amarta elehem ish o isha ki yafle l'nedor neder nazir lahazir l'Hashem. Okay, so if an ish or isha yafle neder will speak a neder of to have a neder to be a nazir. V'yayin v'sheichar yazir chometz yayin v'chometz sheichar lo ishteh. Can't drink anything that has to do with grapes, either wine or chometz. V'kol mishrat anavim lo ishteh v'anavim lachim v'yevashim lo yochal. You can't eat anything that has to do with grapes. Kol yamei nizro mikol asher yaseh migefen hayayin michartzanim v'ad zag lo yochal. Kol yamei neder nizro ta'ar lo yavor al rosho ad mlot hayamim asher yazir laHashem kodesh yeh gadel paroa se'ar rosho. Okay, so there's 2 major things. There is another major. Okay, so one major thing is nothing from grapes, not even raisins, nothing, and not cutting your hair. Okay, and we know a third one is that you're not supposed to be tameh to amet. And if a kohen gadol and a nazir is, I think, kohen gadol that is supposed to be mitma. If there's a met on the road and nobody else is there, the kohen should be before the nazir.
Can I just ask you a question though?
Yeah.
It just says that he came to her, but what was it about her that, and also why did she listen? Meaning, who was she? I don't understand.
Well, yeah, we don't know. And we're not really gonna know. We know Ishachat. That's what we know. Ishachat and Isha.
Interesting.
Yeah, he chose them for some reason. Now, the fact that she's a Kara does remind us of the Mahot.
Of course, I'm just saying there's obviously something, but we don't know
special about her. We don't know, and I don't know that we're going to learn so much. We do know that they're Yerei Elokim, they seem to be Yerei Elokim, which at the time is a major thing.
Yeah, because they're not in a great place.
Right,
okay.
Yeah, but we don't know.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so So the question is still, okay,
No,
so
the
we
question
understand.
also is that it could be that if everything was said to the husband would tell her, you know, you can't have breaks, you can't have this and that. She might not listen.
Right,
Okay, you know, behind his back. But if she's getting it directly,
Right.
and she knows that this is what she has to do.
No, but I'm trying to figure out, like, how did she know it's directly? Like, meaning here somebody shows up, like, who is she?
So we're going to see
That's
there's
what it is.
going to be a
They're
whole
not
process.
sure.
Yeah, they really, you're going to
I
see.
that I didn't
Yeah,
know. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Stay
Okay.
tuned.
Sorry. Okay.
It's fine.
Sorry. I didn't
No
mean to
problem. No,
spoiler
it's
alert.
fine. Yeah,
Okay.
she's
I
going
didn't
to,
know. Okay,
and
that's why I'm
actually,
saying.
and we're going to see that she is actually more clued in than he is. Okay, I'll just spoiler. Like,
Okay.
but let's just take it as it comes. Okay, but first of all, no, yain shechar, no, and also like lo tochli kol tameh. So Radak here says, I underlined in number 1. Shamrina perushi shamrina mitumat maga lenazir. So it could be it's talking about not touching something tameh, which has to do with death. Okay, or it's something to do with like anything from the geffen, also food.
Touch the grapes.
Yeah, all right. She can't even touch the grapes.
Remain on her fingers.
And then nachon. But also a nazir has to be very, very careful about like even sheni latuma, like there's like even something that is not directly tamemet, like you have to be very careful about that. Okay, וכל משרת ערבים, כמו שפירשו רבותינו ז"ל מאי, ואל תאכלי כל טומאה, דברים האסורים לנזיר. Okay, so that would be one opinion is that you can't touch or eat anything that a nazir can't. Okay, so it's like a regular nazir. אבל יונתן תרגם כל מסעיו ולדעתו ולפירושנו בהישמרינה שמשון לא נטמא למתים, אבל מצאנו בדברי הרז"ל כי קבלה בידם כי שמשון נטמא למתים, ולדבריהם ואל תשתי יין ושכר פירוש הישמרינה מפני זה פרשו כל טומאה דברים האסורים לנזיר. Okay, so it could be that we're going to see that Shimshon is going to kill people. Okay, so how does he tamem it? Like it's going to be, so Chazal actually say that he was tamem, was able to practice. Shimshon's Nazirut is going to be different than a regular Nazir. So therefore, but however, there is Yonatan Tirgem that said he was not Nitma Lemeti. But they wanted to the Faresh Kol Davar Tameh as anything that has to do with that a Nazir can't eat, like meaning like anything things, because we see that later he's going to somehow have contact with dead bodies. Okay, I just brought here down also the Mishnahs, just like about Nazirut Shimshon in 5. הריני כשמשון, כבן מנוח, כבעל דלילה, כמי שעקר דלתות עזר, all references to Shimshon's life, הרי זה נזיר לשמשון. Okay, so there is those, if you take on yourself and you say these things, then you are going to be like a Nazir Shimshon, but a Nazir Shimshon is not the same as a regular Nazir. מה בין נזיר עולם לנזיר שמשון? נזיר עולם הכביד שערו, מקל בתער. A Nazir Olam, if his hair becomes very heavy, he can cut it a bit, which in general a Nazir can't cut. Nazir Olam, Stam Nazir is for 30 days. You can take on yourself to be a Nazir Olam. There was actually a Rabbi Nazir, right, who took on himself to be a Nazir. But in general, it's 30 days. So if you take, but a Nazir Olam is, I'm for life going to be a Nazir. So he can cut his hair a little bit if it's getting very heavy. But in the case of, I see I didn't bring the Hebrew of this. If you look at the, it's here. Nazir Shimshon, he could not cut his hair no matter what. He had to keep growing, and we're going to see that that's very relevant. Okay, because he doesn't have the same strict behavior if he somehow has contact with somebody. Okay, so it's a unique Nazirut Shimshon that we learn from here. Like that it's different. Okay, all right. So if she's gotten this tivuli, and then the Malach also says ki henech hara v'yuladet ben, umora lo ya'ala al rosho, ki nazir elokim yeh hanar min habeten, v'hu yachel lo'oshia et Yisrael miad plishtim. Okay, so number one, here it's already in the present. Hinech hara. Okay, so you're going to get pregnant, but you're already pregnant. Okay, so basically it could be she was pregnant at that moment, and you're going to yoladet ben. You're going to have a child. You're already a yoledet, like you're already considered a pregnant woman, and so you're not going to be able to cut his hair. He talked about the not eating. Now he says you're not going to be able to cut his hair. He's going to be for Hashem, and hu yachel lehoshia et Yisrael mi'ad Mitzrayim. He's going to start. Okay, he's not going to be a full, already in the beginning, we see that he's not going to do the full Yeshua. He's going to start helping. Okay, that's his job. Can I just ask that too? Thank you. Okay. We're going to see that's very relevant. And I think, again, to remind ourselves, before Iftach, there was that, Hashem says, I'm not going to bring a Moshiach. I'm not doing this cycle anymore. So we have here something, but it's not a full Moshiach. Okay, Shimshon is something, but he's not. That what we had before is complete Yeshua, and we are out of the troubles. Yeah, the woods. That's what I was waiting for. Okay, ותבוא האישה, ותאמר לאישה לאמור איש האלוקים בא אליי. ומראהו כמראה מלאך האלוקים נורא מאוד, ולא שאלתיהו מי זהו ואת שמו לא הגיד לי. Okay, so she's seen something, and she comes to her husband, and she says, now Ish Elokim would mean an avi, meaning like, so she doesn't know. She says, Ish Elokim, like somebody has to do with God, and she doesn't know if it's a navi, but he looked like a malach, which we don't really know what that means. And here the Radak says, "Kemar'eh malach Elokim nora meod perush ki hamon bnei adam choshvim ki hamalach guf v'tzurato tzura nora'a." Okay, so that like people are like scared of they see angels as something scary. So she wasn't sure, is he a person who was an avi, or is he really a malach Elokim? And we have the same issue with Gideon. He also sees Malach Hashem, but he's also not clear to him, is this a Navi or is this a Malach? Okay.
So I understand this sentence.
It's like a
came and told her husband,
Isha, Ish Shelah. Yeah, oh, you thought he was saying Haisha, Tamar Isha. No, 100%. Isha, Ish Shelah, right. Okay, so so she doesn't know who it is, and she said, I didn't ask him where he was from. Like usually if somebody comes, you're saying, who are you? What could you do? But she didn't even, she was so taken aback, she didn't even manage to say anything to him. She didn't say anything to him. No.
Say that she was obviously scared.
Right, no, she was in awe. Yes, awestruck, exactly. Yara'ah. ממש ככה. ויאמר לי הנך הרע ויולדת בן, ואתה אל תשתי יין ושכר, ואל תאכלי כל טומאה, כי נזיר אלוקים יהיה הנער מן הבטן עד יום מותו. And you see, she got the message. like sometimes you see, like it's not, but she really got the message. So there's a question: what did she add here that wasn't till now? Ad yom moto, exactly. So the truth is that Mikra has actually a really cool. It's on the other side of the page, but a really cool thing that like we're going to hear this story 3 times, and it's really something ikaron in learning Tanakh. And he says, and 8. We're basically saying the same thing 3 times. They have little changes. Okay, so it doesn't say it's stam, so therefore it gives only some of the pratim in each one. Every nosach had a special thing. כיצד? הפרטים שבפסוק ה' מיוחדים לנוסח הראשון של המלאך. Okay, so what she says, so in Hey, Malach says, but ad yom moto lo nichtav. Okay, he apparently maybe did say it, but it only was written later when she says it, just to not make it stam. Ela b'nosach ha'isha. Mikol asher yitzeh migefen hayayin katuv b'nosach sheni shel hamalach. We'll see the third time the malach is going to come and say it. So בלבד, נמצא שיש בזה מה שאין בזה, ואנחנו צריכים לשלושת הנוסחאות כדי לעמוד על דבריו המלאים. Like when you have something that's repeated, there's something that's being added, or now there's different cases, like in the case of Eved Eliezer, not necessarily adding pratim, but it's how he says it and how he chooses to phrase it to them. Like there's different things you learn from different things, but here it's like we're adding the pratim. But I just thought it was it's an important ikaron to know, because it happens a few times. Okay, so till he dies, he's not going to be able to, he's going to be Nazir. And also, did I bring this? Here, like Malbim here says, Ad Yom Moto, והמלאך לא אמר זה בפירוש כי ידע שלפני מותו יחלל נזירותו. Okay, so because spoiler, Shimshon is in the end, his hair is going to get cut, and then he's going to lose his kochot, and so the malach didn't say it. It's Malbim says he didn't say it because it's actually not fully going to happen. Like so anyway, a little hint to the future. Okay, so she tells her husband, and what does he do? ויעתר מנוח אל השם, ויאמר בי אדוני, איש האלוקים אשר שלחת, יבוא נא עוד אלינו, ויורנו מה נעשה לנער היולד. Okay, so Manoach turns to Hashem. Vayater also is in Yitzchak. It says that verb Vayater is to David. David's to Hashem. It says, please send him again to tell us what we should do with this child. Okay, like you told us some special instructions, but now what do we do once he's born? Like what are we supposed to? What's the purpose? Which is very interesting. Like what would our reaction be if somebody told us this? What would we think to do?
Well, somebody who had a dream like that today would probably look me rather than
Right,
same kind of thing. But there you go. Now, obviously, he has a
connection to Hashem.
But that he has a direct line.
Right, and you know what? It's also maybe not so common in those days. Like that he Ish Elokim comes and then you dive into Hashem. Like that might be a special thing. Okay.
Yeah, but he was scooped out, and that's why.
Yeah.
But it's very funny how the pattern throughout this is that everybody's chosen whiny, right. Except for Dvorah, but like everybody really they're It shows you like the level of clarity that they had at this point. It's just
not high.
Is he saying whiny?
Well, I think if they're but I think that if they're questioning things and like was it this, was it like means that their actual like definitive, concepts of what is happening is a little bit questionable. Like you said.
No, I don't think it's questionable. I think they want to make sure that they got the message correctly, that they don't mess up. They want to make sure to get clarification of this is really what they have to do.
No, and I also think that there's something here that the malach didn't say anything about what he needs to do after.
Right, exactly.
Like meaning
question. Like malach told.
Like he was told what to do as before she's born, but he's born, and that he's special. But then what?
But there's also an element in Shokim of women having more than one time, like a standing at the front and like
Mamash. You see it with Abimelech, a woman kills him. Yeah. You see it with Dvorah and Yael. Mamash.
Exactly. Well, I think it's interesting because I think in Pasuk 8, the Malach does tell her. No, but like he does tell her.
No, and he does say Israel.
But he says that no shaving and
that's true.
Nazir. When she tells over, she doesn't mention anything about that. She mentions only about me. I'm not allowed to drink.
Well,
So
he's
now
also
don't know
Nazir
Yama.
Elokimi and Narmi Betin Ad Yom Moto. That implies that he can't
but
cut
she gives less information than the Malachi.
No, but it could be that that's also the Mikra saying.
Right. So then understand why he's questioning. Okay,
Right,
what do you mean,
maybe. Okay. Vayishma Elokim b'kol manoach, which is really cool. Like Hashem shama b'kolo, right? Vayavo malach Elokim od el haisha. ויושבת בשדה ומנוח אישה אין אימה.
That's the interesting.
Yeah, why did he come to Manoach? נכון.
But Hashem doesn't come to Manoach, doesn't come to him.
He comes to the אישה. נכון. באחוז. It's not normal. One second. Oh, I just wanted to also say about, I brought the Malvin, with the Mana Asela Nar Hayulod, Ratzala Marsha Malach, Lo Be'er Rak Hanagat Haisha, V'lo Limed Otam, Hanagat Hayeled. בפרט שהיא לא סיפרה לו מה שכתוב מורה לא יעלה על ראשו, ולכן ביקש שיבוא שנית להורות הנהגת הילד, בפרט שהיא נזירות חדשה, meaning he's not the normal nazir if it's for life, like that he needs to do. Okay, so the malach comes and he comes again just to the isha in the sadeh. ותמהר האישה ותרץ ותגד לאישה ותאמר אליו הנה נראה אליי האיש אשר בא ביום אליי. Okay, she rather goes to get Manoach. The guy's here again. Okay, ויקם וילך מנוח אחרי אשתו. There's actually a halacha that says that Manoach was an am haaretz. And how do we know? Because he walked behind his wife. A man is not supposed to walk behind his wife, and he's supposed to walk in front of his wife, sneered wise, but so that he was an am haaretz. Okay, but it's from here. וילך מנוח אחרי אשתו. ויבוא אל האיש ויאמר לו, האתה האיש אשר דיברת? What?
She's going after her because
she's the one, she knows where to go. You know what, I'll bring you more sources about that.
They could have walked side by side.
Okay, wait, I'm just going to write that down to myself. Okay, איש אחרי,
So excited.
אחרי, but I'll look it up, okay? I'll bring it to you. Okay. ויבוא אל האיש ויאמר לו, האתה האיש אשר דיברת אל האישה? ויאמר אני. Okay, so he asks, are you the person who talked? He says, yes, אני. ויאמר מנוח, אתה יבוא דבריך. מה יהיה משפט הנער ומעשהו? Okay, so now tell me, what's going to be משפט הנער ומעשהו? Okay, so what's משפט הנער ומעשהו? One second. משפט הנער, דינו של הנער ומעשהו, מה נעשה בו? How are we supposed to, מה יהיה מנהג הנער כשיגדל? מה יהיו מפעליו? What is he going to do? What does this mean? יחל להושיע ישראל. What is he going to do? What are we supposed to do with him? Okay, this is what Manoach wants to know. ויאמר מלאך אשר אל מנוח, מכל אשר אמרתי אל האישה תשמור. מכל אשר יצא בגפן היין לא תאכל. ויין ושיכר אל תשת, וכל טומאה אל תאכל, כל אשר ציוויתיה תשמור. Does he answer him?
Not really.
Right. He doesn't answer him. He doesn't get an answer.
What they're trying to get out of the malach is, okay, how are we supposed to train him? If he's going to be a Moshiach, you know, it must need special education, special training, something. But it's only still about what she's not allowed to eat. I mean, he's not allowed to eat it either.
Right.
It doesn't speak about anything else.
His behavior. And we're going to see that Shimshon's behavior is like not what we expect from a Nazir Hashem. Okay? Let's put it that way. That we're going to learn not today, but what's interesting is here the Malach does not say anything about what's going to happen in his life. Like only thing he says, okay, and it's not a typical Moshiach of Hashem who is going to somehow conquer, and he's going to be this most holy person. We're going to see it's going to be a very strange Moshiach. Okay, I guess Manoach a little bit gave up. ויאמר מנוח אל מלאך השם, נעצור נא אותך ונעשה לפניך גדי עזים. Okay, and I think we remember when Gidon has the same situation, he also offers him food. because they don't know, is this a Navi or is this a malach? A malach wouldn't be able to eat anything, okay? But so now some of the Farshim say, it says, I will bring you a gdizim, and if you would want to eat it, you can eat it, and if not, let's bring it as an olah to Hashem. Okay, that he already with the gdizim, because that is something that we bring an olah with. So already by saying gdizim, it could be either or. I don't know if you're a malach or you're isha lukim. They did. Oh, he did bring the food. Nachon. That's true.
What did they do?
That's a good question. What did you say?
Not clear.
Not clear. Not clear. And also, part of it was that there is also the midrashim that Hashem saw how sad Abraham was that nobody was coming to visit him, and so he sent them guests. So part of their job, maybe part of their job was to eat it, like to satisfy him. Here, the job is not to do that; it's to live a ser, what you're supposed to do.
But I thought you said that you can't give an offering unless Hashem says to give an offering. So.
Not only that we talked about this last time, that there's right now isur bamot.
Right.
Okay, so we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So the Balbib actually says about the fact that he doesn't answer him. I'm not here to tell you what the din is. I'm here to tell you what you're supposed to do. That's my job. That's not my job to give. I'm only here to warn you that she has to keep Nizirut already. Okay, so we question that. Piresh Mari, she was more ready to accept the malach. It's not something that you can be sworn at. The malach was the one who decided. It wasn't something a neder they took on themselves, which is usually the case of a nazir. Here, he decided that she needed to. Dafka, he came to the Isha because you didn't want to have the dinim of somebody who had a neder, which if the Av had decided it would be a neder. So interesting idea, but also it's interesting that she's also more mukhana, like she was more ready to accept. Okay. Now, okay. So he offers to give him food. Yomer malach Hashem amanoch. Im ta'atzreni lo ochal belachmecha. Ve'im ta'aseh olah laHashem ta'alena. Ki lo yada manoch ki malach Hashem hu. Okay. So malach says to him, if you stop me, I won't be able to eat from what you make. But again, because that's not part of his job as a malach, he was here to say a specific thing. But if you give the olah laHashem ta'alena, and here I think it's the Radak who says, somebody said this. 9. One of them talks about the bama, but I don't see it here. And some people say, meaning like the fact that the malach said, if you want to do an olah for Hashem and not for other gods, then you can do that. One of them, Farshim, I guess I didn't bring it, talks about the fact that it's there is an isur bamot, but because the malach said he could do it, then he could bring that korban, which is answers that question. Okay, but he doesn't. Okay, vayomer manoach malach Hashem mi shimcha ki yavod v'recha v'kibdenucha. Okay, so manoach doesn't legamre get it. It seems because he says to the malach, he says, "Okay, what's your name?" That what you should say should happen, and we'll give you kavod. And here, I think it was the Valbi who says, I don't think I brought it, but he says like he wasn't sure. Maybe this Navi came because he wanted kavod, and so he should give him nice food, or he should find out his name, so he'll give him kavod, that people will know this Navi came and said this, which is not, it's not really what this malach wants. Vayomer lo malach Hashem, lama ze tishal l'shmi v'hu pil'i. Okay, so we're going to say, okay, so Manach was like, okay, he asks his name, and he does actually answer him, and he says it's pil'i. Now this word, this verb pil'i, there's two hints at what is he talking about. Number one is it could be ki yafle neder, right? It could be hinting at the neder when you get a nazir. Could be that's why that's his name. He's bringing them a nazirut, like a yafle neder. Another one is that we're going to see afterwards. It's going to see there's going to be a maseh pele here. It's going to be in the psukim called where is it? 1 second. Mafli la'asot, the next pasuk, right? Vayikach Manoach et gedi ha'ezim v'et hamincha v'yal halatzur la'Hashem u'mafli la'asot u'manoach v'ishto ro'im. He's going to do a pele by the fact that he's going to go up with the olah to Hashem. Okay, and that's when they actually figure it out that that he's malach Hashem mamash. Okay, V'yomer lo malach Hashem, he says my name is Pil'i, and it could be that his name has to do with Shimshon, who is going to do crazy things. Okay, pele things. Okay, also. Okay, pasuk Yutet. Oh, 1 second. So I'm just going to the Malvin. V'yomer lama ze tishal l'shmi ani mevakesh kavod v'tiferet min ha'adam ki malach ani. Why are you asking my name? Because I don't want any kavod. V'gam shmi pil'i lo yoduhu shochnei chomer v'gam kivan ki shem ha'malach hu lefi shlichuto v'hu nishlach b'rega ze la'asot plaot. כמו שנאמר מפליא לעשות. Okay, that's what I said before. Okay. Radak. Okay. Okay, ויהי בעלות הלהב מעל המזבח השמיימה, ויעל מלאך השם בלהב המזבח, ומנוח ואשתו רואים ויפלו על פניהם ארצה. Okay, as there's this olah that goes up in the fire, then the malach goes up with the fire. And then Manoach and his wife see it, and they fall on their faces. Okay? ולא יוסיפו את מלאך השם להיראו אל מנח ואל אשתו, אז ידע מנוח כי מלאך השם. Okay, then he got the message, this is Malach Hashem. Okay, so יל מן הצור, here's where the Radak says it. מבעניין הפעילו מה שהעלה מנוח עולה אל צור להשם בשעת איסור במות, שכל זמן שהיה אוהל מועד בשילה נאסרו במות, אמרו רז"ל, הוראת שעה הייתה כי הנה המלאך אמר לו. Okay, so that's why you could have a korban here. And the mafli la'asot is that he goes up with the korban.
So they say it's that he took the fire out of the rock. That he made the fire from the rock.
בהוצאת אש מן הצור ואכול הגדי והמנחה. Oh, not that he went up. You're right. I didn't know that. נכון. כשהאש גדל והעלה להב, עליו הלך השם, כלומר נסתלק עליהם ללהב. 100%, נכון. That's the right. If you look at the pasuk v'yibalot alav me'al hamizbeach, v'yal malach Hashem b'lav hamizbeach, v'yal el hatzur la'Hashem u'mafli la'asot. It's actually not in the pasukim, but I guess that's what Malbim says here. No, the Radak says here. Radak says it. Yeah, the Radak says it. Nachon. Okay, so Manoach he finally understands, and what is Manoach's reaction? V'yomer Manoach el isha ishto mod namut ke'elohim b'nein. Okay, and he says, we're going to die now. We saw God. Which, by the way, Gidon also has a similar reaction. He thinks he's like, well, I'm good if I saw God. They really had this feeling that if they saw anything to do with God, then they... But it says in the Torah, Kimot namut, lo yareni adam v'chai. Like, it's not so simple, but like, it could be. But right, they saw Malach Hashem v'achus. And his wife is a little bit more clued in. This is why we say that she's a little bit more clued in. ותאמר לו אשתו, לו חפש השם להמיתנו, לא לקח מידינו עולה ומנחה, ולא הראנו את כל אלה, וכעת לא השמיענו כזאת. And she's like, if he wanted to kill us, why would he do all of this? Okay, the Bible says it really well. לו חפץ השם אהבתנו, זה שאות הרצון והאהבה, לא אות הכעס והעונש. The fact that he took the olam means he's happy with us. That's number one. And he's not going to kill us. He would have shown us all this niflaot. Do you do that for dead people? And three, they would have told us that I'm going to have a baby and he's going to kill us now. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, and so Manoach doesn't answer this. ותלד האישה בן ותקרא את שמו שמשון ויגדל הנער ויברכהו השם. Okay, and so she really does have, and notice many times in the Mikra it says vatahar v'teled ben. So she was apparently already pregnant. That she has the baby, and he's called Shimshon, and he grows. V'varchehu Hashem, and Hashem is mevarechem. Vatachel ruach Hashem lefa'amo b'mechane dan ben sorah uvein eshtaol. And so Hashem's ruach hechel lefa'amo. It's a very strange phrasing. What does that mean? And it's in this specific place. So here the Radak says, there's different options what this could mean. Tirgem Yonatan v'shriyat ruach gvura min kadam Hashem l'tkufata. He would every so often get this ruach Hashem of gvura. Klomar hagvura ve'akoach shaya lo b'bachadeh dan hechel lo. Like when he was in Machane Dan, he started to have this ruach gvura. והוא המקום שחנו שם בני דן, כשהלכו ללכוד את ליש, והוא המקום בין צורעה ובין אשתאול. ושם החל לו הכוח מאת השם. ואולי היה לו שם דבר עם אויבים, וניצחם. It could be, the Katuv doesn't tell us, but there he already had some, that he beat some of the enemies in that specific place, and that's where it started. והכתוב לא סיפר. V'hi perush lefa'amo lechazko. Okay, the lefa'amo would be to strengthen him. Hefech binyan nif'al v'yitpa'el mimeno, shehu hasarat ha'koach v'shvirat ha'evarim k'mo nif'amti. Like I was like, nif'amti means like I was awed, I was put into awe. V'lo adaber tifa'em rucho v'titpa'em, וכבר כתבתי בו פירושים אחרים בספר מכלל בשורש פעם, אבל זה הפירוש הוא הנכון בעיניי, ובדברי רז"ל, כי פירוש לפעמו מעניין פעמון, שהייתה רוח נבואה מקשקשת לפניו, like he would get drawn to this רוח השם, כזוג, ופירוש רוח השם נבואתו של יעקב אבינו החלה, אז שאמר יהי דן נחש עלי דרך, and another פירוש is that Yaakov's nevuah that was started to happen, which was that Dan is going to be Nachash alai derech. So we're going to see that Shimshon is going to suddenly have these kochot of Hashem, but it's not going to be exactly the same as what we've seen right now. He's going to be using it in specific situations that we don't even understand why they're so significant. But he's going to be a very interesting shofet. But it starts off with this intense hagdasha that he is a special, he's mugdash l'Hashem, and even mibeten, and he has this ruach Hashem that's going to start to bring Yeshua to Am Yisrael. We'll continue next week.
That was a lot of information.
Right. It's a lot of details.
Sounds a little bit more optimistic right now.
You're right. It's not going to be so like it's actually going to be. We're going to be like, what is going on?
It's so interesting that you mention that, like they bring him up like a Nazir.
Oh, that they actually did what they were told.
Right.
Well,
They're suffering the whole before,
They
but
do
now
what they're told, and it's fine, they don't have to tell you.
Right, exactly. It's boring.
Not done it.
Oh, yeah.
But
Okay.
it's interesting that the pasuk doesn't
Not yet.
tell us. Pasuk doesn't tell us the choice of the man.
Yeah.
Shimshon, why Shimshon?
Okay.
Nachon.
But there are things that the first should say.
Nachon, like he's like the shemesh.
It comes from the shemesh. The shemesh can be also good and also bad, depending on where it is. So it's good for Yisrael, it's bad for the Plishtim.
Okay. Nachon. But the thing is that it's not clear. A lot of what he does is also just for himself. Like, meaning that's the difference between Shimshon, is that a lot of his things are just, it seems as just his satisfying, using the koach for himself. Yeah. But we'll continue next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, to be Shvat, yeah. There's some sun for 2 Shvat. Yeah. Till tonight. Okay.